Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chair Sessions with Dr. D. On the line with me today is a talented and creative singer, songwriter, and blazing guitarist from the Jersey Shore. I have 𝐒𝐸𝐿 on the line with us today, and he's going to talk to us about his musical journey, his creative process, and we're going to take a deep dive into his debut album, Milky Way, which was released in 2019. And with that, welcome aboard, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. Thanks for coming on today. We're looking forward to hearing about this album. But I'd like to start from the beginning. Tell us about your musical journey, how it all started.
Whoa, it started I guess the second I was like a little kid, I was beating on little drums and stuff like that when I was crawling around in diapers. I had a little Indian hand drum that I used to beat on. That was my favorite toy. But then I got into piano because of my grandma around 4 or 5, and I used to see her playing around the house a little bit. You know, she grew up because back in the day, you taught them piano in Catholic school, it was a required thing to learn an instrument or whatever. So she had a hidden talent. She's a real estate agent, but at the house once in a while, you could get her to play. I could get her to play as a cute little kid. Grandma, play the piano. And she would play, and I would get stoked, and I would hop on the bench, and she showed me what I needed to know in order to, I guess, learn a couple things that they said, all right, let's put this little kid into lessons. And I took piano lessons till I was 12.
Oh, wow. So that's how you got your start with the piano?
I forget. I think we got an old piano from an old Italian restaurant, the 𝐒𝐲𝐿, actually, which I still play there once in a while to this day. And still
is that Tuckerton?
Yeah, it's right down the street.
Right, you know? Yeah. Cool. But it sounds like even before you sat on that bench at the piano, you had an internal rhythm that was yearning to get out with the percussion, with the drums.
Yeah, there was something going on, and I even did take drum lessons when I was a kid and try to get behind the kid. And still to this day, I'll claim that I can play the drums a little bit, but the guitar is really my love. When I found that was it. But the drums, that's, to me, it's they're very spiritual. How can I say it? It's very cerebral playing a drum, and it's very grounding. I recommend anybody to just pick up a hand drum or go to a drum circle or just learn any kind of percussive rhythm. And just, I used to get in trouble when I was a kid because I would beat on the desk and play with pencils and make up all these rhythms. And, that was me, ADHD, just making up rhythms and getting pencils taken away from me when I'm in the middle of class. Pretty bad. So I had to find another instrument that worked. And, I guess piano was the start.
Yeah, and like you said, the drums, that rhythm, that it's a very spiritual. The percussion takes us into a deep spiritual place. You mentioned drum circles, and it's funny because I don't play any instruments at all, but I love going to the drum circles for exactly what you said. It's kind of like getting centered, grounded, kind of just resonating the rhythm that's brewing, percolating inside you at the time. It's a great tool for being grounded and mental health. So what were you listening to in your house? What were you exposed to other than the piano too? Were you exposed to other genres, music?
Yeah, I was exposed to everything from country to rock and roll to 90s grunge. I loved country probably first. Before everything, it was classical music because of the piano, right? Because that's just what they teach you. And Christmas songs and all those little traditional music. So anyway, that was kind of my first taste, to be honest, was Mozart and all that stuff. And all the Christmas carols and all that kind of stuff. So to me, it was I wasn't sure what I liked at first, because that's kind of what I was being taught at such a young age. But really at home with my grandpa, he was playing old country music like Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, and he was listening to modern stuff. Back then it was Alan Jackson and George Strait and stuff like that were
Wow.
coming out.
Yeah, some great storytellers.
And like, yeah, even Brooks and Dunn and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. Like just whatever was on the country radio back in the late '90s, like early 2000s. That's what I was listening to with him in his truck. And like then he had the CDs of like Skinnerd and
Oh
SRV
yeah.
and all that badass
The
like Allman Brothers band.
rockin'.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Clapton. I mean, it was like hanging out with him. It was like he had the cool music, Mustang Sally, all
Yeah.
those classics, Otis Redding, you name it, like the Four Aces. Like he was listening to like anything from like old stuff, Elvis, Ray Charles, to like all the cool country stuff. So that was what was going on really in reality. Before like then I started as a teenager, I'm like dabbling into my mom's collection of tapes from the 90s that she's given me, and I'm like finding Black Sabbath CDs and like Nirvana and like Alice in Chains and
some
like,
harder stuff, some grunge. Yeah,
Metallica,
nice.
Yep.
You had a wide exposure early on, so I'm sure that probably helped you kind of formulate your musical identity. And
Absolutely.
I can definitely hear that diversity in your album and the different tracks. There's a pretty nice variety in there. I know this is a question that not a lot of artists don't like to answer this one, but if you had to describe your sound, how would you describe it? I definitely hear some grunge influences, and I love the storytelling. If you had to describe it, what do you fuse together in your first album?
In that album, I'd say it's like blues rock that's like just kind of like hybridized into alternative rock that also has like tastes of some folk music, like you were kind of like maybe some earlier folk music, maybe some 60s kind of like psychedelia, kind of like really like I like the Beatles too, and like Hendrix and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I really like Bob Marley and like a lot of reggae, so I don't talk about that much, but that kind of is, it's funny, but I really get a lot of lyricism and stuff from like the way that they write.
Yeah, so let's talk about the creative process and how your influences and your background led up to your first album, Milky Way, released in 2019. How did that come together?
I was going to an open mic in Tuckerton, and I kind of just met Charlie, my drummer. I had jammed with him, and then his dad kind of approached me, and I think I might have jammed with David, my bassist, that night too. I just can't remember. And then like their dad approached me, and he was like, "You guys sound good together. I have like a rehearsal spot, and if you guys want to jam or something." And I kind of just started like that, and then he like invited me. They all were so welcoming. I came over and we jammed a few times, and it was like something that we could work on, and it was like there's something here, and
you could feel the synergy.
We kind of just like did one recording together in this basement at their house in New Gretna, and then he got all stoked and like built like a studio in the garage for everyone to like record, and he started like running sessions there. It was like a whole thing. Like it was cool.
It sounds exciting. So
it was very cool. Yeah.
When he first mentioned that to you about going and recording, had that ever crossed your mind about recording an album?
No, I mean, yeah, of course, but like I was recording on my own, like already, like recording demos and stuff on SoundCloud and putting stuff like with my friend, just whoever, like somebody that I knew went to audio school, so he was always recording me. And I didn't know how to do anything back then. I was just like this guitarist that was like this punk kid that was like just playing guitar and going to like bars and showing up and just kind of doing my thing, not knowing where it was going or anything like that at all.
When did it click for you? Did it click for you in the rehearsal space where you're like, yeah, man, we're gonna get an album together?
I think Dennis, their dad, saw more of the vision than any of us did, really. I think he had been in bands and he knew where we could go, and he took us to a pretty cool level. really. Like, he helped us, like, really guided me to, like, we played at a lot of gigs and played at the Stone Pony, and, like, pretty much always, like, we almost, like, got to the top of the battle of the bands at the Stone Pony, and we're, like, supposed to, like, open up out, like, we're supposed to, like, play outside on the summer stage, and, like, all this, like, crazy stuff. And then COVID happened. Kind of killed the momentum of everything, but, like, basically before that, it was almost like I was waking up, and it was like every time something cool happened, it was like, is this really happening? Like, I don't even know how this is happening. I'm just, like, kind of enjoying the ride. And everyone else seemed to be at the time too. Like, I don't even think any of us really saw any of that coming. Like, it just kind of happened. Like, we started playing, like, little college radio shows and stuff, and it was just fun. It was just really fun. The song got played on some radio in, like, Argentina somewhere. Like, it was just, like, goofy stuff would happen. Like,
International.
We didn't expect anyone to be really caring about it. I mean, I didn't. Maybe, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just writing music. Like, I don't know who it's for. It's just like, you know what I mean? Whatever
you write
happens, happens.
You kind of write it, put it out there, and let the universe take it from there.
It's always been like, I have to write music. Like, and if I don't feel like writing music, I don't write it. But, like, it's always getting written, you know? Like, it's been getting written for a long time, and I end up doing stuff with it at some point usually.
So the songwriting is like a big part of the passion for the
right. Yeah, like I can't just, I don't know, I can't just, like, play covers all the time.
Sure.
I've tried it. It's just, I've kind of stepped more into, like, really just trying to find, like, who I am as an artist over the last few years, really.
Yeah, that creative, the creative self.
Absolutely, and if I wasn't, like, having fun in the cover bands that I play in and stuff, I wouldn't even do it. Like, I've kind of, like, drawn that line already. Like, seems like I'm pretty young to say that, but I feel like if you're not having fun, like, why
right,
do it?
Right,
you know?
You have to enjoy the process.
You know? Yeah.
And sometimes when you just go through the process naturally, like you were talking about earlier, it just flows, and what gets created is, like, pretty authentic and pretty genuine.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm jaded, like, oh, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, whatever everyone does, like, some people love to, like, cover Steely Dan songs and, like, play in a Steely Dan cover band, and, like, I will pay to go see that because I think that that's cool. But, like, I'm just trying to write my own shit and do my own thing most of the time. And whatever I end up covering because I think it's cool, or it's something I grew up playing, or whatever. Somebody showed me something that meant something to me, so that's why I learned it.
How did the tracks for Milky Way come together? Was the writing done? Did you have a concept in mind and said, all right, we're gonna sit around and write these tracks, or was the writing done and then you kind of put it together to form the album? What was the creative process for the actual tracks coming together?
Like, I guess I would just write stuff and then bring it to the rest of the guys and be like, this is what I have. Like, I would write lyrics. Sometimes I write words first. Sometimes I write music first. And it just depends on the mood. It kind of comes out either way. Sometimes at the same time, ideas can happen in jams. That has happened for sure, just by hanging out together. But I'd say a lot of the times it's like I would have an idea. I'm kind of like, I write a lot in my spare time, or ideas come to me in the middle of the night, and I'll pop up and, like, chart some stuff out and write some stuff down, record some stuff, and I'll bring it to some people and show them, you know. And that's what I did at the time. I was just kind of, like, writing song by song, and it kind of just happened. It all happened in, like, a few months, really. Like, in, like, a year, I'd say. Like, we had that thing, like, 8 months probably. I was just writing songs, like, and we were kind of recording, like, one song maybe a week or every 2 weeks. We weren't, like, rushing anything.
Yeah.
It was definitely, like, we took our time and kind of, like, cultivated some kind of style, I guess, or whatever, and hung around each other and kind of, like, it was definitely not me coming up with everything. It was me coming up with the vocals and stuff like that. But, like,
Lyrics?
Lyrics I wrote.
Mm-hmm. And then the arrangements, I guess you guys all, when you rehearsed and played them, you got a feel for the arrangements?
Yeah, I wrote all the guitar
Uh-huh.
stuff, like everything like to do with guitar wise. But David would come up with bass stuff. Sometimes I would like give him an idea, like, hey, this is maybe what I have in mind for you to play. And maybe sometimes he would play it. Maybe sometimes he would play his own thing and show me something he came up with. And their dad is very musical, so he would help David work and learn his instrument. Like, cause he was only 16 when I met him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like probably 23 or something. Okay. So I was a little older. Charlie was like 19 or 20. And Charlie was just like always just like doing his thing, and I wouldn't really ever have to say much. Charlie always just kind of just fell into place, and it was just like second nature. Once in a while, I would be like, kind of like, hey, could you do this instead of that? Yeah. Or, could you play the snare instead of the cymbals here? Yep. Little stuff. Hey, could you add like a chime in right there or whatever? Like, he had these chimes, and like they ended up being in the album because it was like, hey, let's, how come you never use the chimes? And he's like, I don't know. And then we just set them up. And
cool.
It sounded cool on a few tracks. Like, we used to just get experimental.
I was just going to say, yeah, I was just going to say.
Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers are a good example of a
it's
band
funny
like
that you mentioned the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because I was going to say that the album has a Chili Pepper vibe and spirit to it, definitely.
Well,
There's no doubt.
What's funny is they're one of my favorite bands.
Oh, well,
bring them up
you can tell.
But like I grew up with listening to them. Everything that Frusciante did with them is like that's all that I listened to growing up. That spirit is in the album.
That spirit is definitely in that album.
I told Dennis, I said, mix it. He was like, give me a song to mix it. Compare, producers want to like compare it to something else. Like, give me an idea of like what you want it to be mixed like. And I just sent him a Chili Peppers song. I forget what song, but it was a Chili Peppers song. I was like, this is how I like, the engineer in this album or whatever.
So let's take the deep dive now, like into the tracks. Since we're on this Chili Pepper vibe, I think I've told you this before. So my favorite track is Knock One, and I feel like the vibe definitely is in that one.
That was my bass player David's favorite one to play. He used to break strings on that one.
Absolutely love that song. So talk about that one a little bit, about how that one came together. Maybe lyrics, the arrangements, inspiration for that one.
I wrote that one just about kind of a crazy lifestyle. Yeah, kind of like an Atlantic City vibe, because I wrote it while I was living down there. I was living in like Ventnor, Atlantic City, near Atlantic City, and I don't know what I was observing, but that's what I wrote. Like, it wasn't really like about anyone in particular. I just kind of was observing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on in the city.
Sure.
And, just kind of like the dangers of it. And,
yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like, I forget that there's like a saying like 99 bottles or something like that. Some kind of nursery rhyme, and I remember thinking of that when I wrote that. 99 bottles fell off the shelf or something. Since this is like my little nursery rhyme or something.
It's funny. It's a nursery rhyme with that Chili Pepper vibe to it. So going into that one, it wasn't like I'm inspired by the Chili Peppers for this one. The inspiration and the influence just kind of came out.
No, actually, I was more inspired. To be quite honest, I accidentally realized after I recorded it that I was like, this sounds really like close to a Modest Mouse song, and I was like, I don't know if that's good or bad, because it must have snuck in my ear, because I really loved this particular Modest Mouse album, and I was like, it kind of sounded like dance hall, and I never kind of forgave myself. Like, I was like, I hope I didn't rip that off, but it's cool as and the dude ever comes after me, then I guess I'll get sued or something. I don't know. Not that I'm really making any money off it, but
Well,
pennies.
I guess I'm living under a rock sometimes. I'm not familiar with Modest Mouse, and maybe some of our other
They're an
listeners
alternative
aren't.
band from like early 2000s, kind of like Seattle or something. I think like Midwest kind of. It's kind of like Midwest alternative music.
Well, they get a little shout out now here on
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
interview.
they're really
So
big. I mean, I've seen them personally, like at the Sayers
Cool.
Ballroom in New Jersey. Yeah, they're one of my
Nice.
favorite bands. But if you listen to that song, like you can hear some similarities actually, and you might think like, oh, I get it. Like he's actually maybe it's more actually Modest Mouse inspired than Chili Pepper inspired, subconsciously.
Gotcha. Favorite one, knock one, on the album Milky Way. I'm talking with Jacob Evans Smith, and we're going over some tracks on the album, taking the deep dive. So there's another one. It's some rock and guitar riffs. The song tells a powerful story and message, and it kind of gets back to what you were saying a little bit earlier about tapping on that drum in the class. There's some high intensity emotional energy in this song, some chilling vocals, fantastic guitar work and percussion. The song is, I think, the first track on the album, Medication. What do you want to say about that one?
I mean, I'm just like kind of like writing that one kind of as a voice to like anybody that's kind of just been kind of involved with like taking medications that maybe their doctor like prescribed them, and it's kind of like they really didn't need it or something, you know. I think there's a lot of pill pushing that happens in the world. Like people could do without all these chemical mock cocktails, you know. So it's I just wrote that because like I mean I was shoved down like ADHD pills and stuff when I was a kid, so it was like something that I always felt like mattered. Like I should get a voice on this. Feeding the kids and Adderall and shit. I mean, I know that that's not so popular, but there's other ones now. You know, it's bullshit. Let kids be kids.
Yes.
Let them act like kids and stop trying to fix them with pharmaceuticals, you know. If you want to take pharmaceuticals, you can decide that when you're 18. Like, don't be, you know, I don't think the doctors should be, you know, hungry to like prescribe people shit just to make a quick buck. And that's what that's about.
Yeah, and I think that theme comes out. You know, the way you tell that one and sing it. Like I said, it's kind of chilling, and it's like that frustration. It sounds like the frustration of like being misunderstood, being judged, being put into this, you know, this box, this classification, maybe a diagnosis that needs something that needs to be fixed or corrected. When for yourself, you know, you're just being a kid.
Exactly.
Powerful song, Medication.
Well, that's like, I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of like punk too, like suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, like institutionalized.
Yes.
For me, like that's like my institutionalized in a sense, like because they're talking about the same shit. Like the parents think the kid's crazy, and the whole song, it's like the end of the song, he's like, all I wanted was a Pepsi, and she wouldn't give it to me. He's talking about his mom. It's just like this frustrated kid, like. All he wants is a Pepsi, and the mom keeps coming in the room questioning if he's on drugs and all this other shit. And that's what used to happen to me. I would get home from school and take a nap, dude, and my stepdad, my militant stepdad, who was like a Coast Guard drill sergeant, he would be like, I guess say to my mom or something, like, he's on drugs. And I really wasn't. I was just like a tired kid that was coming home from school. And this is before I even started like smoking pot and stuff like that, as I got, you know, older, when I was an older teenager. But that didn't even matter. Like, it was like I never understood, like, why I was even getting questioned back then. And, you know, it led to a really bad mentality for me, like a really bad dark hole of me saying, fuck it. You know, well, I already think I'm on drugs. I might as well smoke pot. You know, I might as well drink. You know,
you kind of like almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy. You start the self-talk that you were having, it kind of pushes you in a certain direction.
And that happens, and that's what institutionalized suicidal tendencies hit that nail on the head, and I resonated with all that. I mean, they started having me take this medication because I'm falling asleep and this and that. And it's like, I'm just tired, you know. Maybe my diet wasn't right. Maybe I'm just, parents don't really look at like every angle of a kid's life. Like,
Right.
you know, people may not be eating right, or kids need naps.
Yeah,
You know?
it's easier just to say, here's a symptom. Let's just let's see what we can do to get rid of it.
Right.
And sometimes it's easier with a pharmaceutical than it is to actually like work through it. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, right?
Well, it's like, well, when you're an adult, you know, you're playing the victim if it's a problem, but when you're a kid, you really are a victim. So that was my voice as I turned into an adult, and I was like, you know, I have a voice now. I can write a cool song about this shit and let everyone know how I feel.
Great song, and I think if whoever listens to it definitely knows how you feel, and that's the beauty of that song. It's pretty intense, I love the passion in that one. And it's funny. So the next track on the album is called Milky Way. And this song, Milky Way, I noticed there's some themes of like, you know, making decisions, I guess, destiny, finding peace, love, hope, and light. The Milky Way song sounds, it sounds like there's a lot of hope in that one.
So you make me sound like a Grateful Dead song right now. I appreciate it, you know.
So.
And some of that might be in there, you know, a lot of that, like whatever that they're all singing about half the time, like Ripple. Like I feel like that's in a sense my Ripple on that album. You
nice.
know, me just like it is, because it's like, yeah, there's a road that you can take that's a middle road in life, and Jerry Garcia was writing about that, you know, and that's kind of what I was writing about. There's a light at the end of the darkest road. And like, if you get through the darkness, you can find that light. It's kind of getting over your fears and doing that thing that you like are telling yourself not to do, or you're being lazy about, or whatever. Even if it's like, oh, I was going to tell myself to go to the gym today and I didn't go, or whatever. It could be the simplest thing, really.
That's revival.
Sure, yeah, it's revival.
Revival's finding that light at the end of the dark tunnel or the darkness.
Yeah, it's optimism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Faith. Yeah.
Love it. Jupiter is the next track on that one. I really like this one too. I mean, I love all the tracks. They all resonate something a little bit different. This one for me, when I first listened to it, and actually the second time I listened to it in a deeper layer of listening, I get like this image of like Louis Armstrong's Wonderful World. But
it has like a slight chord progression that makes,
yes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like Louis Armstrong brought into the cosmos. It's like Louis Armstrong's cosmic journey on Jupiter. That's what this. That's where my mind went on that one. So I don't know. Do I need medication? Or so I mean that's how I like to listen. I mean I really like to when I listen. I really like to listen in layers. First listen, usually I gotta just as a surface listen, and then if something resonates strong, I go back and listen to it again and see where it goes. That's where it went for me.
Yeah, there was a lot of raw stuff that I had written when I was like, even like Jupiter I had written when I was younger. Like I was probably like 22. Like, so it was like a year before I met the band, and it was like a recording on my phone that like I had written when I was renting like a loft in my friend's house, like for like a year, down in Tuckerton. And I was just like up there, like recording some loops on my phone. And I had a 16 track too at the time. So I had like started just kind of messing around, and like that's kind of where I started like thinking like I should start recording some shit. And like that Jupiter was one of the first like things that I like recorded. And like when I met the band, I was like, one of the first songs I was like, dude, we have to like, this is a song we have to work on and record. I didn't know anything, you know, except the 4-chord progression at the time. Like, well, so
it's cool because I feel like when you were talking earlier about your influence in some of the classical stuff, I feel like that influence really comes out on Jupiter.
Sure, you know, because classical music, there's a lot of diminished in classical music, and a lot of people don't really do those kind of things anymore. I mean, a lot of people do in like metal, but you don't really notice it because it blends. But Yeah, it's just like a diminished chord kind of adds that. It makes it sound like that. And now I'm getting all nerdy, but to me, that's just like a quick answer that a musician might understand.
Uh-huh. Fallen Angels, the next track. What do you want to say about that one?
That one is just like super like I want to show you guys that I like play the blues. 'Cause I'm like, yo, I'm still a blues man. I'm like a rock and roll guy. Like, I want to keep things upbeat here and keep the cool dark shades on here. Like ZZ Top influence maybe coming through.
Yeah, there's a
Gary Clark Jr. is a big
Oh
influence.
yeah.
Eric Clapton, like all those guys like that. I would love to go to see like the Crossroads tour this year. 'Cause, like that, those are like all the guys I wish that like I could like in a dream be like jamming with.
I recently,
like, all my favorite players.
Absolutely.
To go watch, and listen to.
Eric
Gales and
he's on fire right now. Eric Gales.
Clapton, even Buddy Guy is going to be there. Like Gary Clark Jr. will be there. I think even Mayer will be there.
I just saw Gary Clark Jr. A couple months ago. Man, let me tell you. I mean, I've seen him a couple times, but the last time that I've seen him, the last show just a couple months ago at the Basie in Red Bank, New Jersey, it was. I mean, his concerts are like an experience, sensory experience. But
it's
this
a
one,
spiritual experience.
It's
not your cup of tea.
Absolutely,
yeah, right. Like, it's like Fish. It's like if you're not into blues, don't come.
The last one, though, I mean, the fire in, I mean, like you said, his concerts are spiritual experiences, but the level of resonating at the last show was just off the charts. And so, when you see somebody so good like Gary Clark Jr. And you've seen him a couple times, you say, well,
I've seen him once.
Yeah.
I could verify.
It kind of sets
at
up.
Radio City Hall, and it was so close, and like like I was right there, and it was awesome.
He's amazing, and the show, like, he's so good that sometimes when I see somebody really good, I say, well, I'm going to go see them again. The last show was so good. I don't want to get my expectations up because I don't want to be disappointed. Maybe it might, but man, he just blew it away.
I wish I could have been like there when he was like some of the earlier tours, like when he was first popping out. Like he was so raw, dude.
Oh, he was
back then. Like, oh my gosh.
Saw him at the Stone Pony back quite a few years ago.
Disgusting.
On the summer stage.
Yep. One of my favorites.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite modern day players.
Yep. Fire. Pure fire. That's Fallen Angel. Emery. Next track.
Yeah, I wrote that one about an ex-girlfriend. That's pretty obvious. Like about a chick. It's like obviously it's about some chick. It could have been about a dog or somebody. Like some of my other songs were about, like one of my songs was about my dog at the time. But this song was about an ex-girlfriend, and it was about a breakup, and it was what I wrote. It just naturally came out, and that's how I felt. So.
Yeah, so
that was more Chili Pepper in any sense inspired, I think.
Oh, cool.
Like mix-wise, I think, because I kind of wanted that like real clean, like sound, like clean guitar sound on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, I don't know how to explain that one. That one to me is kind of like really heartfelt, really bluesy.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think that one's like super,
it's pretty raw.
Like, in my opinion, very bluesy. Like you could just get super bluesy on that one.
Yeah,
like
and
Hendrix kind of inspired, like that kind of, like it's. I think Little Wing is a big inspiration for every guitar player, and that's like my Little Wing.
Your Little Wing.
I was like taking off on that one, doing like 6-minute solos when we're playing it live, like just ending on them, and just I thought that was just cool. Like it would just build up all this emotion through the song, and it would just make me want to like John Mayer does Gravity kind of like that, and I'm just like, I like shit like that where it's like you listen to the song and then watch somebody take off, and you know, like Hendrix, that's what we all want to do.
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
like
as guitar players.
You get transported into like takes you into the stratosphere.
Guitar players that sing and play, like it's like you have to kind of get through the singing and then you can have fun. That's kind of how I've always felt.
Yeah, it's kind of transportative.
Because I love playing, like, and singing is kind of like the work.
Yeah, right.
Like,
And again, that song really, I think it really captures the diversity of the different energies on this album.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one is one of my favorites to play. How else can I say it?
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while, but it's definitely one of my favorites to jam on. It's real simple, you know.
Oh yeah, it's simple and raw, and definitely it doesn't. There's no shortage of emotional intensity on that one either.
Yeah, it's just like two verses, you know, just real quick and just.
The Bee is next. The next track is The Bee.
That song is just about the birds and the bees, man. You know.
Nice. Best Friend?
That one was about somebody I knew that inspired me to write a song like about like love on a deeper level, like really finding somebody that really has, you know, that real kind of like how you would want to treat like a family member, like your significant other should really get that same treatment, like that you would, you know, how kind you would treat your mother or grandmother or somebody.
The depth of the connection.
Yeah, it's kind of like how a father would be soft to his daughter. Like you wouldn't, you don't want to be disrespectful to another man's daughter that could be your wife. Like that's kind of how I look at it. And I mean, I might sound traditional, and I'm not perfect. I've definitely not treated every woman perfectly, but that to me is like how I've written down and documented how I feel about that whole subject.
Yeah, that's another one.
My personal experience in love.
Yeah, that's another one. Real, it goes deeper into that, you know, into the love area. So, you know, and again, it's another one that really shows the diversity of your superpowers, your vocals and the emotional energies. You know, going from some of the real fun ones to like this serious, deeper emotional.
Well, it might be corny, you know, but it's like true, and a lot of people have kind of written songs like this, like even like kind of like, you know, people will kind of clown on John Mayer for Daughters, but it's like that's one of my favorite songs. Really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I think it you know, it really speaks to the authenticity, which is something that I love. I love the superpower that artists have, the ones who can really resonate that authenticity. I find myself that those are the artists I'm kind of drawn to, because it's like it's so real, you know, that we can all at some level, if you open yourself up, you can you can relate to the whole range of all these wild emotions.
Yeah, I like Maroon 5 a lot for that kind of stuff, you know, and that's another, like, you can call me corny, but, like, one of my favorite bands, like, when I was a kid, like, listening to Adam Levine, and he would always write cool stuff like that, you know, and,
yeah, no,
I mean, he got all the chicks, so of course, I'm like, you know, you're like a 13-year-old kid, you're like, that guy is cool, you know.
Yeah, I'm definitely not using the word corny. I'm gonna authenticity is my story. I'm sticking to it.
I think I can call my own stuff
you
corny, but you know
absolutely.
What I mean. It's like, you know, it's just it's just stuff everyone can relate to. Is all I mean.
Absolutely.
I feel everyone can relate to the love and like family and
yeah.
You know,
that's the hope.
That's you know, everybody. Yeah, I'm not trying to write anything that's over anyone's head. Really, that's kind of where I come from.
Glory Days is next. That's not days. That's DAZE. Glory Days.
All right, maybe that's trying to be a little funny over somebody's head, but basically, it's kind of just like, you know, a little like maybe I was just trying to be cool at the time and like thought it looked cool, but I think it's kind of like you can get dazed kind of like, and like it's like whoa, like 10 years can fly by, and it's like whoa, like, you know, and it's kind of like a play on words of like glory days. Like, you know, like Bruce Springsteen had that song Glory Days, and obviously everyone knows what that's about. And it's like, yeah, I'm kind of just writing about some childhood stuff and some struggles, and like I just wrote that one thinking about maybe I thought at the time, like I think at the time I really felt like some period of time had passed, and I was like marking some kind of time. Like I felt like I had come a long way to like where I had come from, and I was
Yeah.
like, kind of just it's a long way. I took the long way home,
Uh-huh.
and that's kind of what the whole punchline is. I
Cool.
took the long way home. So like, I did some crazy stuff, and I I didn't always stay on the straight and narrow, but like I'm all right. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
and we had some fun times, and
Yep.
glory days, man.
Yep. Would you say now, let's see, as you're a little older, a little wiser, maybe more experienced, you talked about the center ground earlier, finding the importance of the center ground. Do you want to talk? Because I saw too, you're licensed in yoga,
Yeah,
teach yoga.
yeah, I have a 200-hour certificate.
So
I was in 2017, so I was like 21, so like 9 years ago. I went to train in the Bahamas at 𝐒𝐲𝐚𝐽 Yoga Center. It was pretty cool, and really got a lot from that. It pretty much changed my whole outlook on a lot of things. I remember some people thinking I was like getting brainwashed or something. Like,
Entering
guy,
the
like, what the hell
cult,
happened to this
yoga,
guy? Yeah.
the yoga cult.
I like came back, and I was like standing on my head, and like people were like, what
Getting
the hell
into
is this
crazy
guy
positions.
doing? Yeah, like
The
this
lotus.
guy used to party and do all this crazy shit, and now he's like doing yoga on the beach and meditating. And
Uh-huh. Do you mind talking a little bit about that? Because being in the rock and roll environment gets a little crazy, can get crazy at times, as you know.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like the yoga teachings, is it something that you continue to use to help ground yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I meditate daily. It's, even in most spiritual religions, it's kind of just a thing. Like
Yeah.
people all around the world have access to this. I mean, you're just recharging yourself. I mean, even if you're just like chilling out, it's meditating. It's just, we're so busy, I think everyone needs to just take time to unwind and like sit with themselves for a time. And like, I just like to sit with myself. And to me, I mean, the yoga thing is cool. I was
Yeah, right
taught to
on.
meditate a lot younger, when I was a kid by my aunt, who had definitely helped me. Actually, my godmother, she had helped me get kind of like into the school and the whole thing. Like, so she's, a big part of it as well. I have like her and like another friend of mine that are definitely like, I grew up with people being wellness practitioners and like knowing that stuff as a kid. And so it was something that I had like went back to like as I had got older and like had some trouble in life. And it's always, now it's kind of, and then it's like at times I'd kind of like brush it off, but like now it's like, no, it's a tool that I have in my toolbox, and I will always use it. And
Right on. Sounds like
I've
it's
tried
part
to
of, it's
fix.
part of your life. Big part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like once you kind of have like an awakening or like some kind of like your eyes open to some shit.
Enlightenment.
I've tried to pretend like go back to like certain ways and certain things, and a lot of things that I was doing didn't work, so I had to change the things that I was doing. And yoga helped me to like be open-minded enough to do those things.
Amen. I hear you. Sometimes we don't recognize how what we're doing is not to our advantage. Sometimes we don't recognize it until it's a little bit late.
Yoga's just a great way to stretch out. Like a lot of people stretch. They do Tai Chi. There's a lot of people that, I mean, I like to bike and I like to lift weights too. And,
Same.
I like to surf. Like I'm always doing something, and I do construction. So I feel like anybody that is using their body, it's good, and you need to find a way to do like some kind of opposite thing. you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I like to take hot and cold showers and go to like cold baths and
Uh-huh.
plunges and saunas. I'm big on wellness and stuff like that, and
Amen.
self-care, and you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
cultivating mind, body, and spirit.
yeah, dude. I mean, life's too short to be like laying on a bed of nails,
Right on. That's
you
true.
know, drinking whiskey and trying to be all tough. And, you know,
Uh-huh.
fuck
Yeah.
that. You know.
And so, did you feel like this wellness? Do you feel like it promotes your creativity? Has it changed your creativity?
Oh yeah,
Altered it?
dude. I mean, I have so much more energy than
Mm-hmm.
like when I was just. I mean, I tried to go back to like some old lifestyle things, like even, you know, recently, like I gave up drinking again just
Uh-huh.
because, like, for me, I'm a lot more productive when I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
like, even if it's like 2 beers or something, you notice it like the
Yeah.
next day. I mean,
Sluggish.
I'm 30 now. I'm just like, yeah, like I'm not like a kid anymore. I'm,
I get
you
it.
know, it's, I, to me, I'm just a lot more productive without it. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like the one, I just kind of looked at my life and I was like, well, that's the one thing that maybe could be holding me back. I had given it up for like 6 years. So,
Uh-huh.
and then I had kind of like dabbled again when I was like 26.
Yep.
And then for like the last few years, I was like kind of going off and on drinking beers at gigs and stuff.
Yep.
And I was dating somebody and we were always drinking together. So it was just like not a good relationship.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just something that I decided to give up because I'm a lot, to me, I feel a lot healthier.
Uh-huh.
Some people, I'm kind of like, I like to put my best into everything that I do. So I'm maybe I'm a little OCD and I just, you know, I don't, it's like,
I get it.
I'm very like one track mind. Like,
I
yeah,
I
it's
get it.
easier to like just look at things that are hindering me and like get rid of it. Like
Yep.
I don't eat meat. Like there's certain things that I gave up that like, to me, I don't, and I've tried to go back to eating meat,
Mm-hmm.
like, and stuff like that. And it's like, I personally feel, I heard Travis Barker even like kind of talking about it like this morning. Like, it's like, yeah, partially it's for the animals, but like, dude, I just feel good. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, some things just come with experience.
Right.
And like, if it works for you, great. Like, if not, go ahead and eat your grass-fed steak. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's
I
like,
know exactly what.
I'm
Yeah.
not judging anybody. Like
Yep.
everybody should find what works for them and do it.
Right.
And you know, fuck what anybody thinks. I'm kind of a punk. Like that's how
Ah,
I'm kind of like punk rock. Like, you know,
I love it.
deep down, like
The rebel.
fuck the man. Yeah, like
And there's some of that there's some of that rebellion. I really like the way some of that rebellion is reflected in this album. I think that might be part of what I connected to too, which really.
yeah, like I'm really against like big pharma, factory farming. Like
Uh-huh.
these are like I'm just kind of like a punk rock surfer kid,
Yeah.
really. That's just like kind of just grew up and I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I haven't quit playing guitar or surfing. A lot of people, like I've seen a lot of people give up what they love to do to like go sit in a cubicle or like just go do whatever that they're not happy doing.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
go be with somebody that they're not happy being with. And I'm kind of like, I might be a little bit more like a little bit of like a 70s California hippie
I was thinking
vibe,
about, yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm really
Free
not.
spirit.
Like I'm really actually not. It just sounds like it. Just sounds highly shady, you know. Like I don't live in a van. I don't want. Like I've done that stuff before, and I've experienced that.
Uh-huh.
I was doing that. I was like living in a van in Hawaii at one point. Like totally gave up music. Was ready to just be a bum and just surf. Kind of like I heard Ben Gravy talking about this, and you know him,
No.
the surfer from New Jersey.
Okay.
And anyway, I kind of relate to this guy. He's more like a professional surfer guy, and he's not. He's actually, I think he does play music actually too. But long story short, I heard him saying something like that. He's like, I was just gonna stop surfing and be a bum or something, and because he couldn't make it in like professional surfing, like he got cut
Okay.
by like Billabong or some big
Oh
company
wow.
or
Okay.
something
Yep.
when he was like 20 or something, and then his like dad stopped paying for his sponsorships or something, and then he kind of like, I kind of could resonate with his story a little bit because he was like talking about And he's from Atlantic City, so it's
Oh
just
wow, okay.
funny. Like, this guy's super close. I've actually surfed like right next to this guy, and like they're filming.
Oh neat.
Um, but it's like, it's funny too, because a lot of people would come up to me when I was younger and I lived down there, and they would be like, "Are you Ben Gravy?" Because I had the long hair and like
Uh-huh.
looked like him. So anyway, if he ever hears this, what's up, Ben Gravy? You know.
Shout out to Ben Gravy.
Yeah, he's like a film guy and he does all this vlogging, so I'm always watching his surf content because I'm a surfer. His sobriety journey kind of is cool, and I kind of followed him because he was on that, and he's just a strong energy in Jersey. So
Right on.
yeah, like he was saying that he had become successful though, like after all this he like gave up, and he was like totally, and that's how I was at one point. I was like not even gonna play music, like I was like just like whatever. And I wasn't even like drinking or anything at
Uh-huh.
the time or doing anything. Like I was just like, you know, maybe this whole music thing is like just all chalked up, or like whatever, everyone's doing it now, and I'm just gonna like live in this minivan and surf. Like, and I didn't come home for like 2 years. Any gigs, I didn't do anything except surf
Uh-huh.
and
So
like hang out.
so now that you're back and you're back in the music scene, I know you're playing with some local bands and you're putting together a new album, or at
Yeah,
least some new
yeah.
material. Plans
Yeah,
on.
I've been putting together a new out. Like, I mean, people are telling me, "Oh, don't release it as an album, release it as singles." I don't know what to do anymore. Everyone's telling me something else, and the industry is always doing something different these days. And everyone's on social media these days, and everyone's addicted to social media these days. And it's like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm just
I
like here playing my music and I'm
Yeah.
recording it, like,
I have a
and
feeling you're
it
gonna
might
do
just
what you want.
yeah, it's probably just gonna come out. Like I'll probably just like release it through a distribution thing that blasts it onto
Sure.
like Spotify and all that crap, and Apple and YouTube, and it'll be on those platforms at some point. But I mean, I don't have a band right now. I just been
Okay.
recording everything myself, so it's kind of like I mean, I don't know. I wish I could find some guest players. I'm kind of in an area that's kind of a little desolate in that
Yeah.
category, but I mean, not that there's not people down
Right.
here, but it's just like this part of Jersey isn't like North Jersey or New York, or, it's not just
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
It's slower.
It's not as
That's all I can
densely
say.
populated either. So.
Oh, no, it's not like people are here year round either
Right.
that are here. A lot
Yeah.
of people come and go, and this is their vacation spot,
Yeah.
and this is
So, lessons learned from the first album going into this creation of a possible second album. Lessons learned from the first one that anything you might do different.
um I don't think any of that. I just think
Okay.
it's like a whole another can of worms. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything. I mean, I'm obviously not like with the same group of guys,
Right.
so it's gonna be like a little different, but
Yep.
it's gonna be different a little style wise, because it's got a lot more of like, I had gone back and started listening to a lot of like I had also grew up listening to a lot of like emo music and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that. So
Yeah.
I started writing more like riffs. Like I was getting back into like Taking Back Sunday and
Uh huh.
some of my favorite bands like Alkaline Trio and stuff like that. I was getting a little bit more like on the alternative side like
Mm-hmm.
of things, and so there'll be a little bit more of like, yeah, like I grew up listening to like Fall Out Boy and My
Oh, yeah,
Chemical Romance and stuff like that.
So we might see some style changes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I don't know like what caused it. It was just, that we all go through different seasons and listen to different stuff
Yeah, yeah.
at certain times. But it's weird because there's like those two. I wrote a couple songs that are kind of more punky like that, and then there's like also like one that's super like blues groovy. So
Cool.
we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Do you feel like with you talked about like with the yoga and this and wanting to stay centered, grounded. Do you feel like with I guess I'll call it sobriety? You talked about really
Sure.
whether
Yeah.
it's not drinking or cutting down on drinking. Do you find that that you have a clarity, like a newfound clarity? Maybe do you feel like it's a clear vision of what you want for yourself, what you want to do?
Yeah, I feel like every day that kind of vision gets bigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like, it's kind of like when you meditate, like they kind of tell you, like, you know, each meditation kind of gets a little better as you kind of practice. It's just
Right.
like every time that I pick up my guitar and practice a song, it gets a little bit better, you know?
Yeah, cool.
Like it gets a little easier to play it. So that vision starts to become a little easier. And yeah, I have a bit of a vision now. And I mean, I'm kind of like quiet about my visions. I don't really talk much, but things will be happening soon, hopefully.
I want to thank you for sharing what you shared with us today, because
Good things have been happening.
Yeah.
I'll say that. That's all I can say.
And-
Like, a
and-
lot of good things have been happening
right on.
behind the
And
scenes.
from the energy of the first album and talking about this new clarity, this new mindset shift that you've kind of made over the years, it sounds like there's some exciting things on the horizon.
Yeah, a lot of gratitude happening for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That would definitely be the topic for sure of my life these days.
Right on. I'm gonna put links to your social media and to the album, and if you have a website, we'll link it up so people who are listening in can go to the description of the interview, and they can connect with your stuff, with your social media, with your music. And if people want to find you out playing, mostly Southern New Jersey gigs, and pretty much around LBI.
We're right across from Long Beach Island.
Okay.
Like if you know where that is.
Yeah, so the LBI area, lots of.
This is the bay side of like where Long Beach Island is, like Beach Haven. So yeah, it's just like a little bay town. It's quiet, you know.
And you're pretty active on
There's not
social
much
media.
going on.
So as far as posting gigs and stuff, all posted on your social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. Anytime that I get a date, it will be posted on there. Absolutely. Whatever dates I get with the Later Days band, I've been posting. So
Nice.
those are up on there. Those guys are really fun to play with, by the way, because it's just like taking me back to my blues roots. So I just have to add that in.
Yeah,
Like,
Later Days band.
You know, those guys, you got to check them out.
Check 'em
and
out.
Come see us if you're around the area, Ocean County area. A lot of good stuff happening. Those guys have been really fun to play with lately. Yeah, man, it's just a lot of fun. Like, I'm just all about having fun,
All
making
right.
music. So anyone that wants to connect, you know, reach out.
Check out the energy. 𝐒𝐸𝐻 first album. Can link to it at the description and the interview. Check out some live gigs playing with the Later Days band. Check out the music. Check out the energy. Jacob, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing the stories and taking the deep dive with me on your album. Looking forward to the next project, hearing it, and catching a live gig soon. Thanks again for coming on.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Trying to cope with my decisions. I'm on a mission to fix this broken heart with stitches, and I can't waste time. See seconds turn to minutes. The almighty dollar can be my witness, and we're all wishing for is just a little bit of money for our time. Oh, give us money, then comes crime, then comes murder for a dime, and it ain't ever gonna change or in my sweet lifetime. That's why I knock one off the shelf, and then I knock another one straight off my shelf. And bye-bye, you can say bye to me.